Day 121. So, I don't have a ton of time, but I was feeling pretty inspired and I thought I should get this down. So first of all, I've been doing really well with my eating for the last few days. I'm down to 164.8. I'm looking really muscular and thin, and I'm gonna eat a lot. I know this weekend 'cause I'm gonna go visit my sister for her birthday. Um, but um, it's been a good couple of days, so I'll try to keep it going as best I can. But I have to work out today still. I'm gonna try to work out before we leave. Our flight's at 1. I gotta wake up the kids in a minute. Um, but I'm feeling inspired. So I have been watching a lot of Peter Thiel videos. Um, and I had a really good meeting with Sean yesterday. And Sean um, went through his whole rental process of how he decides if it's a good or bad rental. And it took him 20 minutes to go through one property. And it I don't think I know it everything, but I think I finally see the full picture of what we're working on, which is funny, right? This is a day 121, and I think arguably I knew 20% of what we were working on. And I think I still only know 50%, but that 50% opened my eyes a lot to what the problems are, what the pain points are, what the friction points are, and I feel like I understand his perspective a lot more right now. And I think I was asking really dumb questions throughout the meeting, and I don't know, just trying to understand it in my own way. And I have this like weird feeling he was like rolling his eyes, like, why did I pick this dude the whole time? But I'm sure that's only in my head. But why did he pick me to be his partner? Is my point. And so I've been finding really good mentors for the last 6 months, 3 to 6 months, and I've watched pretty much every Michael Seibel video I could find 2 or 3 times, and I think I got into his head decently well. I think I have a long way to go before I can guess what he's thinking, because he's very thoughtful. Um, and then I went and got into Jeff Bezos for about a month, and I still have a lot more to go into that too. It's always learning. So, and now I'm starting to head into Peter Thiel land, and I think I think I'm I think first of all, I think fundamentally I've had no good mentors my whole life. I think that they're hard to find. I think that most people that advocate that they are a good mentor are really self-absorbed and egotistical, and usually not good people deep down when it comes down to it. Um, but I think so far these 3 people, I feel like I'm sure they make mistakes, but I feel like they have a world perspective that is valuable to understand and copy, or understand and use. Um, I feel like Michael Seibel is very um, thoughtful with every decision and every question he asks, and very forthcoming, with his experience. And I think his experience is built of talking to founders every day for 10 or 15, 20 years now. And he's a really, really good way of distilling everyday conversations into big themes. And I think the hard part is trying to understand that big theme, because I'm thinking day to day, and I'm not thinking holistically about what we're doing. Bezos is all about customer focus, customer obsession. And I think that's really good, but I think I think we need a company. I think it's a I think for everything except Amazon, I don't know. I think it's just I think it's not a good mission statement to build a company around. Um, Maybe it is. I don't know. But the Peter Thiel land is what's interesting to me right now. I'll talk. I gotta think more about the Bezos thing, but like, um, well, I'll say this: the Jeff Bezos model, I believe in it 100%. I just get stuck on the part where it's like, what's the point? Is it the point to make money, and knowing that, if you do this forever, that you'll make a bunch of money? Like if you focus on the customer without thinking about anything else, you're obsessed and you're inventing the future and everything. I bet it's true, but it just doesn't hit me in the same way as the Peter Thiel thing does. And this is kind of Sam Altman too, which is their argument is like, it's definitely Elon Musk too. Um, the argument is we are in charge of our future as a human race, human species. Um, be on the side of advancing it versus not. And sometimes that gets sticky, as like what is better, what is good, especially with some like inclusion kind of things, capitalism versus socialism, like what is better. Um, but I think fundamentally it comes back to like the mission is to improve the quality of life of humans. And sometimes that's keeping us living longer. Sometimes that's curing cancer. Sometimes that's sending us to Mars. Sometimes that's um, make it simpler for basic things like transportation, make cleaner energy, make it easier to pay people quickly, But I think what I finally understand that I didn't really get from Bezos and Seibel is like, what's the point of this? Because I thought it was to make money, and I don't think that that's totally wrong, and I think that'll get you pretty far. But I think I kept looking for something deeper in it, and I think I'm getting closer to finding it, which is the point of torturing yourself and putting yourself into these circles and these work ethics and these habits that are not everyone's day to day, where you're trying to pull yourself out of the day to day minutia of life and pull yourself out of your normal job and do something different, is to advance society, is to invent the future, is to be one of the very few people in this generation that will invent the future. And it's not for a notoriety thing, not for a famous thing. It's like a club that you get to enter when you are inventing the future. And it's a distinguished club. And I would argue that most billionaires are in the club. And they don't want to talk about that because it's like, I think it's more like it's who they are. And so to say you need to join this club and whatever, like I think it's more like if you're not, if that's not how you view the world, I would argue you're probably 100 million times less likely to be a billionaire. And also, you're not really part of the club. And that's what the club is. It's I guess it's like Fight Club. You don't talk about it because it's just who you are or it's not. But I definitely have heard this before in interviews with Elon Musk, and like I never really. I always kind of threw away that argument that like I always thought that he was kind of trying to make headlines when he was saying, I want to build a society on Mars. But now that I get closer to this culture of people that believe things like that, and believe them in a deep, meaningful way, that they believe that this is the point of existing. Like that being that club of advancing the future, creating the future, inventing the future is the last goal in like a human's life. Like it is the ultimate goal. Like and they throw away things like be happy and have a happy family and um you know enjoy your life. They struggle and it's painful and they I'm sure they hate it a lot of times. um but they put that goal on a pedestal, and I've kind of been searching, I think, for a while now, um for what the next rung of the hierarchy of needs is for me. Like what the like I feel like the basic needs are met. Like I have this amazing family and amazing wife and everything, and I want to be grateful every day for all of the things I have. But also as humans, we want to keep growing and learning and trying. And I haven't really figured out what the next thing is, but I'm kind of in a weird state of mind right now where I kind of it's making sense to me, and maybe I'll disagree with this tomorrow, but it's making sense to me that spending every waking moment on startups is a good idea because it, you know, A, teaches my children not to quit and try new things and be creative and work hard and believe in something. And B, it gets me to stop ruminating and like it kind of cures my depression because it doesn't really let me think backwards very much. But I think one little problem in there is like there's a what's the point kind of thing. There's like at some point, if you do achieve this, like whatever. But I think when I apply the Peter Thiel filter to that argument, it really cracks the egg. It breaks it wide open for me where it's like, yes, this is curing my depression and anxiety. Yes, this is a good, perfect, I think a really good way to be a role model for my children. And now I think I'm getting the third rung of the bar stool, which is going to keep me upright. And it's inventing the future as the ultimate goal of a human, is the ultimate achievement of a human. Being a part of the group that is creating the future, not just sustaining current state. And Peter Thiel has a really good like argument and thought process with this stuff. I gotta go in a minute. But it's like some of these ideas are very crazy, but I think he kind of fundamentally goes back to like a good example is like his argument on dying and anti-aging, and it's like should we as a human race species, and I think it's good to frame questions like that, as a race, as a human generation, what should we be working on? Because I think it cuts through the crap of like what's on TikTok right now. It's like what is the point of, or what can we do to better humans? And I think that's Musk's argument, is like go to Mars. Like that's and maybe it's a good idea or a bad idea, but that's his argument, is like we need to start with fundamentally what's better for humans as a whole and then go from there. And aside from all the decision he makes along the way that might be controversial or evil, um, Peter Thiel's argument is with anti-aging is like, um, we should live forever. We should be curing cancer. We should be investing tons of resources into killing cancer instead of making TikToks. Like how are we representing ourselves to our children, and how are we representing ourselves to people that are intelligent, and how are we making it advantageous for them to choose between those two career paths? And why are we making it so one-sided? Why are we not putting people on pedestals and giving people grants and giving people um, why is the most technologically advanced thing we have our phone and not our house, not our city, not our society, not our hospital? Like how are we fundamentally um, pouring resources into different parts of the earth, the different parts of society, and calling it the right way to do it? And one of the best ways to advance humans is to let us live longer, to further advancement and create higher quality of life and be closer to utopia. And and he's like, and the average argument back is death is a part of life, and like um it's all kind of like everything needs to come to an end, and that's the cycle. And I don't just that can be valid. Let's say that is a valid argument. And he says, like, I would argue an equally valid argument is that it's just as important that it's just as there's just as much struggle for us to avoid dying as there is for us to accept death. There's just as much point to life and death as us dying and as us fighting death. I'm sure I'm butchering it, but I think once again it kind of like opens my eyes that like to every action, like we can really, and Sam Altman does this too. It's like, and he really took like in his free time he just reads textbooks about nuclear engineering and fission and fusion and AI, and that's how like he stayed on the cutting edge and eventually can be the CEO of the cutting edge AI company in the whole world, is because that he took this as a mission. And I'm starting to think that to be a billionaire, to be a great person, to be somebody that people hear and listen to and want to be like, a really good mission to keep you on the straight path and not deviate into all these corners that you fall into that actually don't advance your life or anything good, or build a startup that doesn't do anything actually meaningful and therefore isn't valuable. The mission to avoid all that is to say, or is to live your life in a way where your only purpose is to, or the main part of your time or energy, or the thing you fall back on when during hard times, the rule is, how do I invent the future? How do I advance our civilization, our world into the future? And some of that breeds competition, where you're beating off other people that currently are here in the present. And and I don't have a good idea of why that's good or bad or evil, like to put other companies out of business in order to create the future and whatever. But like, I think that those kind of conversations fall by the wayside when you just say, my goal is to be one of the few people that is inventing the future right now. Because I don't think it's more than 1% of people that are really actively trying to invent the future. Probably less than that. I think a lot of people go to work, come home, and that's it. Even people in very strategic and specific and scientific, and I would argue most CEOs aren't thinking that way. Like, that is my goal. Their goal is usually to maintain profits or whatever. So I just had to get that out. It was a shower thought that I thought was valuable, and it's gonna shape how I think about this project with Sean differently, because I think it's a better mindset than I'm not saying I should discount the Jeff Bezos stuff, because I think it's really important, but I think it's not a mission, because I lose track of like, what's the point of all this, but like the Peter Thiel mission makes sense to me, that advancing humans is the ultimate mission and goal. And any way you can do that, you even stupid things, but that things that are still better and still that are built as a result of thinking about the future and creating the future are still valuable. And so I think I'm going to really try to think about that and reflect a lot about that, especially with the Sean project, and saying, what is the future of real estate? What is the future? What is better for humans in real estate? How do we invent the future in this way? And I think it's going to help me cut through some of the minutia of this thing. What color is this? Where should this go? Like, how much time should I spend on this? Like, is this valuable more than this valuable? Like, I think I'm going to push back on little stuff a lot less. And I think I'm going to push us towards a bigger goal a lot more. And we'll see what happens, I guess, but that's all the time I have. So I'm gonna have fun with my sister. I'm gonna have fun with my sister this weekend with my wife, and it's gonna be a good time. But we'll see. I do like this. This is cool. It's like this is like doing therapy, but not for improving my life, but for improving humans' lives. And I need to build up my set of rules and set of things to come back to when I get stuck, just like I do with my real life, when I in my relationships and my goals and everything. But it's like doing it for the company, and the company is its own life and its own partnership and its own thing that I need to have rules for in order to keep growing and grow more and get better. And it's a fun new challenge, So I'm sure I'll be thinking about this, all the things I didn't say today that I'll be ready to say later. But anyways, I gotta stop. Whatever. Have a good day.